Welcome to Ratio Scale Modelling. This is part 15 of Italeri Operation Silver Bayonet. Scale is 1 to 72. So in the past episodes of the build log, I've gone through all the construction of the vehicles and the buildings, and now I'm on to the construction of the diorama itself. So in part 14 I began that, and in this part 15 I'm going to be carrying on with that work. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So carrying on directly from the part 14, I'm going to be painting in the riverbed like I did on the previous board. So it's the same techniques once more of just dabbing in the paint along the bed. And as you can see, I'm using a light brown colour once more. And I'm also using the three-step process for the ground coverage. Underneath the little hill hideout that I've made out of clay, and keeping that as the solid dark brown colour, but all the rest will have the three-step process. So that's the base colour of the dark brown, the white paint, and then lastly the green paint, and creating those textures as I go along. So it's worth noting as well that I use a very old brush doing this. Your brushes will get ruined doing this, so keep that in mind if you're going to attempt something like this. Keep hold of your old brushes to do it. Now, I should also point out you cannot do this with airbrushing. You would need to mould the surface with more clay. So having it adhere as thick as such is essential. On this board, this is it's going to be more of a flat surface. This is where the helicopter will be sitting. So it's the same procedure in the painting, but it's less raised and textured because it's going to be more of a flat area for a helicopter to land. But again, it's still that three-step process. Now I'm going to be making a very simple bridge for the road. Now what I've got here is some little offcuts of willow, and I'm just putting them into a frame to form the bridge supports. Now I'm doing a couple of different sizes because I'm not sure what height I want at this stage. So it's just a simple case of making up 4 different struts. They're all placed together with super glue as well, so the drying time is very, very quick. So I've decided on the lower part, well, the smaller ones of the 4 I made up, and I'm just placing them in using a bit of super glue. For the actual bridge itself, I found a placemat. It's a bamboo placemat that I've been kicking around. So I just cut it to size and laid it over the 2 struts to form the bridge. It's quite effective, really. So that's what I'm going to use. But before I do that, I'm just going to use a bit of plasticine on the edges here. Again, this is to stop any liquid coming off when I place it in. And now I've got the bridge supports on that, and it is time to put in the liquid. Now, what I've got here is realistic water. And once it pours in, self-levels, and then it will harden to a solid state. Depending on how much you put in, will dictate how long it takes to dry. It can take quite a while to dry. I'm going to be leaving this for at least 2 days until it's solid. Now the area I'm pouring into now, I put in a little bit of black paint at the bottom there. That just gives the illusion of depth. So that's why that's a different colour, and I'm using a spreader just to spread this solution all over. Now if you wait until it's semi-dry, you can actually then peak this up to form waves and things like that with a cocktail stick or a spreader or whatever it is you've got to hand. But you have to wait until it's semi-set. Timing is crucial when you do it. You really have to keep an eye on it, because one moment it could be semi-set, next moment then it could be set, and there's nothing else you can do with it. Now, because this is a sort of like a stagnated river type scenario, I don't really have to worry about that. I'll just be pouring it and then leaving it. Obviously, with the other 2 sections that are going to hold the water, that won't actually take much. So the drying time is going to be variable on each section. So if you are doing something like that, that's also something to bear in mind. So now I'm turning my attention back to the board that's just got the flat surface, and I'm covering most of it in some PVA glue. It's not going to be all coverage of the PVA glue. It's just haphazardly placing it on for the next process. She's laying down some ground coverage. Now, what I've got here is various turfs and grasses that, again, you can pick up from any hobby shop, and I'm just sprinkling it over the area. I'll then tip it up to get rid of any excess, and that will stick to wherever I place the glue. Now, you don't want it just to be the one colour. So if you have different variations of colour of these grasses and things like that, I would suggest you using it. It doesn't really matter what colour, I suppose, as long as you have these variations, and it helps to all make it look realistic. I'm also placing on these denser products. Well, they're basically the turf grasses, just that they're in more of a dense form. They can be broken apart, sprinkled down, as you can see there, and I'll just press them into the board to attach them. So for the next set of boards, I've left it for a good couple of days and let the realistic water dry, and the excess grasses that I used on the previous board a couple of days ago, I'm just sprinkling that back onto the new board. You know, why waste it? Sprinkle on a bit of kitchen towel or something, and when you take off the excess, you can reuse it. So it's the same again. I'm just placing it all around in various parts. I'm not having any uniform sort of method of placing this on. It's all random. Now, because this is effectively a jungle clearing, you want to add more depth of field as such. So I've got some lichen here. No, technically it's not a jungle plant, I suppose, but it does add to the feel of that deep brush jungle look. So I'm just spreading it over the formed hideout that I made to disguise the whole area. I'm then adding some cluster foliage. You know, these clusters, they come in big blocks, and you just pull them apart and place them on. Now, this stuff's designed to look like bushes, but also for trees as well. You would stick it onto an aperture of a plastic tree or something like that, which I've done many times. But they're very good for ground coverage as well. The idea is, when you place them on, try not to put it all in one big massive clump. Have them dotted around. Think of how plants grow in the real world, and try and replicate it that way. There's no hard and fast rule, of course, but just do what feels natural, and it should look natural. So once that's all on, it's time to add more plant life. And for this, what I've got is various palm trees and tropical plants. Now, these are all plastic that you can buy, and they all come with a base as well, so they're easy to fit onto your board. But I don't want the base, so I'm taking off the connection points, and I'm going to be attaching these just with a little bit of super glue. Now, the disadvantage of that is you do have to hold them for 1 or 2 seconds to make sure that they're not going to move. But because they haven't got any dedicated base, you can get them closer together to give that jungle look. And I'm also going to cut down the trunks as well, so I'm creating different sizes as I'm putting these on. So this is all going to add to the effect. As you can see on the mat there, I've got ones with a thicker trunk as well, but a lot smaller. They all come in the same pack, all various different shapes and sizes. And as I'm placing these on, this is where I am part 15. There's still quite a lot of way to go, but a lot of it is the same process, but I will go through each one as I go along. So, as I said, I'm just building up these trees to represent a sort of jungle look. So while I'm doing this, and if you haven't done so already, why don't you nip over to the channel, have a look. There may be something there that you'll be interested in. If there's not, give me a shout and I'll see what I can do. If you want a particular kit built that you haven't seen before or interested to see how I would go about building it, let me know and I'll see if I can do it. Hit the subscribe button as well and hit the notification bell. That way, if you do make a suggestion, you'll be notified when I do bring that up. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and of course, share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.